especially as teenage girls, we researched these before.
Yes, we did. We did a little stalking.
We did a little bit of stalking.
It's out there for you to stalk.
I was like, yeah. So, what was your experience like performing on a national tour?
It was wild. It's kind of crazy to like, my mom asks me this like randomly sometimes when I'm on the phone. She's like, what is it like to live your dream? And I'm like, I don't know, it's kind of weird. So it was exhausting and exciting and so much fun. It wasn't all like sunshine and like rainbows, to be honest. There were parts of it that were like really, really hard, but there were other parts that were like really rewarding. One of my favorite things about theater is a curtain call, because it's like the audience appreciating you and you appreciating the audience sitting there for 2.5 hours listening to you. And so I've like found myself like just like getting to living for the next curtain call while I was on tour, because we did over 200 performances of the same show. Luckily it was Waitress with like beautiful music. Obviously Sarah Bareilles can do no wrong. So you know what I mean? It was a lot of things. It was really like affirming for me to be able to do that. I went from the person that like didn't get into the musical theater program that I applied to, right, to being on a national tour. So it was really affirming in that sense. There are parts about the theater industry that like opened my eyes to like, oh wow, like I don't necessarily like this part of the theater industry. And you know, this part might be like a necessary evil of the theater industry, or whatever the case may be. But it was a really, really rewarding experience.
What was your most requested song at the start of the song?
When we saw that you were in this, you're like, oh my gosh.
What did we do? Oh
my gosh,
you heard it
anytime.
Yes. And then I went
So
I went on to watch the video of Let It Go.
Yes, that was my audition song. So that song I had $12.12 in my pocket when I sang that song, and it was after I had made $2,000 stretch for over 4 months in New York City. I was in a mattress at my childhood home that was being sold, that was empty, and it was like, talk about let it go. You're just like, well, here we go. Like, there comes a point, I think, in every person's career where you're just like, I don't know what's gonna happen. I'm just gonna jump. Oh, someone will catch me, you know? Oh gosh, songs that I requested a lot is Let It Go, actually. And from my cast, like my co-singers, they want to hear Zero to Hero all the time, because it's like a great gospel 2-minute like charge up song, and there should be 5 women singing it, but it's just me. I mean, we have a lot of families that come, and that's something in theater to always be aware of, is your audience. And the audience changes every 40 minutes at Stardust. So you'll have a ton of French people from some random like bus tour, and then you'll have a lot of the English at 7 a.m. For some reason, they just really love coming really early. Cause they want to get there, you know, like they're visiting a new city and they want to like see. I would be the same way if I was in Tokyo or whatever. Like, oh my gosh, like I'd be like never sleeping. But yeah, so anything that's like that, remembering, that's what I love about this show, is like knowing your audience and knowing what they want, and just obviously everyone likes something different, but there is a certain demographic within, like when radio was huge and that was what the only thing people heard are those records, those songs. There's a power to that generation of people who listen to that music. You know, we have the privilege of hearing anything from anywhere at any point at any time, you know? So I would hear a lot of like, I always say, don't stop believing, or I will survive. I just would like pay attention to the audience. I would see what they liked and I would ask them, and I would just make it happen. It's nice to make people happy. I like do that. So.
If you weren't a performer, what would you be, and like why would you be it?
So a lot of us, this is actually a hard question for actors, because a lot of us have side gigs where we do other things that aren't performing. So when I'm not a performer, I plan summer camps for little kids, which is fun. And I actually have a camp that starts like the day after this show closes. Why I did that to myself, I don't know. But we love financial stability, right?
Yay!
So there's that. But when I was a kid, this is like a different answer totally, but when I was a kid, I really wanted to be a roller coaster designer.
Oh, that's a really.
And then I figured out that you have to do math, and I was like,
Well, the very first thing I ever wanted to be was a singer, so I'm really happy and lucky that I just worked on it and did it. And But at one point, I wanted to be a dolphin trainer. Then I found out about blackfish.
So
Right? I just love the water.
Every little girl goes through like a marine biologist phase.
Right, you have the mood ring and then like Lisa
Yes.
Frank stickers
Yes.
and you know, it's just like, this is
wow, that just took me way back to the Scholastic Book Fair. Whoa.
That was just like the happiest time of my life, just like helping animals. And then I realized marine biologists and dolphin trainers cut a lot of dead fish up, and I'm like, ooh, that's. And then you're seeing a lot of plastic in the water. So instead, when I pass away, I want to be a reef in the ocean. That'll be my little like, So I thought about being a tree, but I was like, no, I'll be a reef. Yeah.
What is some advice that you would give to like people like us who maybe hope to pursue a career in performing in the future?
I actually got this advice tattooed on me. That's how much I live by it. And I just got this tattoo the day that I think that we closed Waitress, the tour. And it's a Target, and it has the letters WIFY, WNMY, which stands for What Is For You Will Not Miss You. And I think in this industry, there's a lot of no. I know in this industry you get told no a lot. And I've been told no a lot. I share with you all, I wasn't accepted to the one musical theater program that I applied to. Now I'm a professional working actor. And so I really try to remind myself all the time, like, what is for you will not miss you. And especially like when I'm going into an audition situation, and you go in and you try your best, and then you leave and then you hope to hear something back, and sometimes you never hear anything, and it's like, well, dang it, like I was right for that, and and all these other different things. And half the time, like 90% of the time, their choices have nothing to do with you at all. But just knowing that like you are on the journey that you are on for a particular reason, and when you get to the place where you feel fulfilled and all of those different things, like it will all make sense.
But if you always bring your best, not only your best work, but your best attitude, your best intentions, your best grace as well for yourself, then so much more will open up for you.
I love that point of like live your life. I think for so long in this industry we have been made to believe that we have to like give up our like life outside of the stage to like do the stage, right? And it's like, well, you got to be comfortable missing weddings and missing the births of your friends' children and blah, 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 right? And some of that stuff will happen, and you'll get to a point where you have to make decisions of like, okay, like, this is my best, like I missed one of my best friends in my life's wedding, but it was like the first professional cruise contract I'd ever gotten, and I was like, I have to go do this, and she was so supportive and whatever, right? So you'll get to the point where you do sometimes have to make those kinds of tough decisions, but then you also get to a point where you realize, like, I think 2020 made me realize that like I have to have a life outside of like the stage, because that can be taken away from me at any moment. And so what does my life look like if I'm not Elvie, the singer, on stage? Am I anything else? You know what I mean? And so definitely like, work hard, be like the hardest working person in the room, but also be comfortable like setting boundaries and like living your life.
Can we ask you guys questions?
What are your dream roles?
Oh, wow. Oh.
Definitely my top is Anya and Anastasia.
Okay.
Love. I feel like at one point we're gonna do something like
we would.
Roxy and Velma.
Yes, like a
As
duo.
you
Yeah.
Love that. Like Linda Elphaba.
Yeah, that is what contacts each other's phones.
That
Okay.
is.
It is.
We're
I'm
manifesting
Linda,
already.
Yes,
do it.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, like.
Apennine.
Oh yes, Ebony love. Honestly.
I love these answers though, and let me just be really, really honest with you, especially for you as a person of color, because when I was your age, like the only things that I could think of, and even now when I like answered you, right, aside from what Phantom and Phantom of the Opera, most of the roles that I can think of are roles that are like written for Black men, and so I just love that is like the direction that our industry is going, where people can think outside of this box of like, what do I look like, and that is what I have to be, or like, am I the exact same description as like the original person on Broadway, and if I'm not, then like, you know what I mean? So I love that for y'all, that you are thinking those things, because that is that's really a testament to like how far our industry is coming. We still got a long way to go, but
and the support that the two of you have for one another is really sweet.
Yeah, that's special. Hold on to each other, because there's not a lot of, honestly, there's not a lot, you don't get a lot of like super close friendships like that. Like I'm really fortunate to have a lot of friends who are like my exact same type, and we like support each other and cheer each other on, even when we're going on auditions for the same things.
Because you will see them over and over again.
We'll see them over and over again, but like sometimes that's not really the case, you know what I mean? And it's understandable. Everybody's like vying for like these very few, you know, opportunities. So if you're able to find a good friend who is like able to support you no matter what, and always be like cheering you on in your corner, but also call you out when you acting ratchet, hold on to that person.
Yeah, because people
People
act
have like teen night coming up. Do you have any thoughts for the teens coming to?
Oh my gosh, can you guys?
Oh, they're gonna like come
dress
to the
up?
show? They're coming to Smokey Joe's?
Yes, for 20 night. That we're all gonna kiki
course,
outside,
as you should.
and then we're gonna see the show.
Oh my gosh.
I love that. Just come enjoy the show. I don't know. Smokey Joe's Cafe is a really fun show. Most of our audiences have been from a older generation, and it's really sweet to see them. These people who are like older than my grandma, some of them. I think that this show is really cool because these songs are timeless, and I feel like our cast, being as young as we are like bringing kind of like new life to some of these like older songs. So yeah, I just really hope you all come see the show and enjoy it. And yeah, reach out to when you go see a show and you see people and there's their Instagrams or whatever, reach out to those people, because more than likely we were people, you know, before Instagram was a thing, standing at a stage door trying to get advice from somebody else. So, you know, you're not always gonna get a response, but sometimes you will, and those are always wonderful connections to make as well. So, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I wish you all the best.
Thank you.
Elvie and Glenda.